Hello and welcome to another 3-string cigar box guitar lesson. This is the third lesson in a series of sort of banjo technique influenced playing. So the first two we're looking at much more sort of beginner level techniques. This one is a little bit more advanced. There's some slightly difficult, slightly tricky left hand or fretting hand hammer on and pull off sort of positions. So what I've done is there's a full exercise which we'll look at in the next video, but here there's just a few like warm-ups and sort of technique exercises we're going to cover just to make sure that you're able to sort of like handle these positions. I've done some of these with some Skype students, and this particular one is actually quite difficult, so we want to just take it fairly steady to start with. So before we get into the lesson, let's see if we're in tune. So here's G, D and G. So if you like this lesson, if you like any of the others, please consider supporting the channel. This score is available on the website, very reasonably priced, and it's half price for the first 7 days. And the other two are available as well that we covered in the last two lessons. So what we're going to do is, first of all, at the beginning of this score, there's just a couple of open string picking exercises, picking stroke strumming exercises. So the first lesson was looking at claw hammer style banjo strumming, so you can check that one out if you want. And the second one was looking at single string picking, where we're kind of emulating the down and up movements of playing with a flat pick but using the thumb and the index finger. So we're going to combine both of these, and we're going to do a single string thumb index finger pick on the bass string and do a down up strum. I'm slightly exaggerating the movement here, so it's single string on the bass and a down up flick. So remember, that's quite a controlled, relaxed but controlled index finger movement. So just alternate. So on the score I've actually got the bass alternating strings as well. So you can do that on the individual strings. So that was actually the second exercise of the two. The first one is just a single bass and alternating down and up strums. So I'm not using the index finger. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the second one, which is the thumb index. So it's actually a continuous rhythm. All the way through, and I'm going to use a couple of the chord sequences from lesson number 1, the banjo strums. So I'm going to go from this. So we've got the G droning, got the F, frets 3 and 2. So F with a G in the bass, normal G, frets 5 and 4, 10 and 9. That's a C with a G in the bass, and then another version of G. So to start with, I'm just going to stay on this bass string. Or I might even alternate, because we've got enough space. We're on each chord for long enough that we can alternate. So I can speed it up a bit. You could try palm muting. So again, we've covered this in a ton of videos. Sorry. Just separates the sound out a bit. You can try it over other chords as well. So later on in that particular progression, we've got this stepping up here, but just beforehand we had a D, an E minor and a C. So remember that's that D5 power chord. Fret 2 on the 2 G strings, frets 2 and 4 for the E minor, fret 5 and 2, step up for the C. And then we can come up here for high G, so 9 and 12, 9 and 10, and then that ascending bit, 3 and 2 on the bass strings, 5 and 3, 7 and 5. Okay, so I'm just skirting over this quickly, but it's on the score. So we can start on the chord, so the D. Again, I'm just going to stay on the bass string. So I can do it twice on the D, once on the E minor, once on the C, and then right up here I might go twice on this G, and this is a G7, and drop down to fret 10, once on this shape here, it's like a G7 shape, C7 sorry, once there, strum, twice, once, or we can try alternating. I can't alternate on that one, but I can alternate here. Alternate here. String 3 in the bass, 2, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 3. Speed it up, you get a nice sort of bubbly sound. So that's a really good right hand warm up, and take time, as slow as you want to start with. But like I was saying, what's particularly difficult about the full exercise 3 is what the fretting hand's doing. So hammer-ons and pull-offs, we're just going to do like a basic warm-up here for these to start with, and then we'll get on to like the first line of the full score as a practice. So fret 7 is quite good, because going all the way up to fret 10, so this is like a little chromatic thing where you just move up one fret, or rather you take in every single fret from 7 up to 10 with all 4 fingers. So keep your thumb like this, and it's quite good because it's a bit of a stretch if you write down on fret 1. If you find that the action is a bit too high, you know, the distance of the strings, then you'll have to go further back, or possibly even look at swapping your nut out or something. But what we're going to do is we're going to keep finger 1 in a reasonably flat hand position. Don't bridge round, because this is a single note thing to start with. So that's a really good solid foundation. If you're on the tip, you'll pull it around, and then just literally hammer on and pull off with different fingers. That's fret 8, that's fret 9 with my third finger, that's fret 10 with my little finger. So these two are kind of supporting each other directly behind. Relaxed, don't sort of bunch your fingers together, try and get a bit of daylight in between your fingers, and you know, slowly, but when you can do that with one finger, so that was just one pluck there. But you can keep re-picking when you're on each new finger, but when you get used to it, try and move up and down. Alright. You can even go up in sequence like hammer-ons and then pull-offs, and do it on different strings. So it's a bit more of a natural bridge round here, but still keep that pretty flat, because again you'll start pulling the string around and it doesn't sound particularly brilliant. So There's the sequence of hammer-ons followed by pull-offs or individual little trills. So that's quite good practice. Eventually get lower, you know, so by the time you're down here, that's a bit of a stretch, but it'll probably start to feel a bit easier. You can also keep your first finger where it is. Now also fret with your second finger and practice trilling with your third finger and then your fourth finger. Okay, and then finally, possibly the most difficult one, because often people's little fingers, pinky fingers, probably the least sort of responsive. So fret with 3 fingers here. Now what you might find at this point is these two are on the same tendon, so that might be affecting that one, and it might be pulling around. You might even be like losing contact with your third finger. So it's all about just getting a bit of independence and movement between each finger, so that they can all move sort of freely without affecting the other one. So yeah, that's a really good exercise to do. But what we're also going to do is just the first line of the main exercise. So here, having said that we're keeping quite flat because it's a single note riff, now it's a bit more of a chord, so we actually do want to bridge round a little bit, just enough so we're not catching string underneath. So finger 1, fret 3 on the middle string, and then keep that fretted, and here's fingers 3 and 2 on strings 5 and 4. And what I want to try and do before I get into the proper strumming is I want to do a double pull off there. So this one's pulling off to fret 3, this one's pulling off to the open string. You can see that. So it's like a pluck basically. You got to imagine your fretting hand is plucking. So I'll do a bass pick with my thumb, I'll do a strum and do a double pull off straight afterwards. Okay, now just that's quite difficult, so take your time with that to start with, and then you do another thumb strum afterwards. I've maintained this fret 3 note, so I'm going to do like a little up pick on the middle string, just on the one string, thumb, and then straight away back in with the strum with my index finger and hammer back on with the same fingers to the same frets. So what we're doing is we're sort of combining a bit of the single string picking with the sort of claw hammer style strumming. So you've got thumb, strum, pull off, thumb, up, pick, strum, hammer back on. Okay, and then we've got, in the second half, hold these 3. So this hasn't moved, these 2 now don't move, so we've got 3 fingers fretting at the same time. We're even going to add the 4th finger in on fret 5, thumb, bass, and then strum. So that's fret 5 on the top string. I'm just that one on its own, pull off there, and then thumb, up, pick again. So it's the same pattern with me right hand, and I'm now on fret 5 on the middle string, so it's written as a 5 on the tab. So it's, and then this time another strum, and I'm gonna pull off followed by a hammer on, like that. So the second bar is little finger pull off, hammer on. So again, practice that second bar. And then both of them. Okay, so as with the sort of chromatic like legato, hammer on and pull off exercise, stretch your arm out. It's quite good, because what you'll find is it'll probably, your hand will start to cramp up a little bit, like I can feel that a bit. So extend your arm and just stretch your tendons a bit. You can sort of feel it in your forearm. It's quite good for injecting a bit of life back into your hand, but particularly for this as well, because you're sort of bridging around a bit more. But basically those 2 bars, just loop that, because the good thing is that once you can do that, the rest of the exercise should be manageable, because that's definitely one of the most more difficult hand positions and like sort of sequences of movements. The only thing that's slightly funny there is right at the end. I don't know if you noticed that with the hammer on, pull off followed by the hammer on was at exactly the same time as a thumb pick, because it was right onto the beat 1 of the new bar. So that comes back at the same time, so you got to get the thumb and these 2 plucking and slapping down at the same time. So a couple of times around that. Okay, so yeah, have a go around that, and we'll look at the full exercise in the next video, and hopefully once you've got your fingers around that, it should be okay. So have fun, and yeah, please consider downloading the score, and we shall see you here again soon on Coded Guitar.